Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast, your go-to source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We hope you tune in often for all things people management, organizational development and change, organizational leadership, and social impact related. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with Human Capital Innovations Podcast. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI podcast episode, I share my recent Forbes article, Creating a Clear Meaning and Purpose to Become a Highly Impactful Leader. Welcome back to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. It's great to be with you again today as I share my recent Forbes article, Creating a Clear Meaning and Purpose to Become a Highly Impactful Leader. Creating meaning and purpose at work is, in large part, what it means to be a highly impactful leader. Listening to your people, helping them to align their values, and connecting those values to what they do every day will help your people experience greater meaning and purpose in their work. This, in turn, will breathe new life into the organization. Without further ado, here is the article. Creating a Clear Meaning and Purpose to Become a Highly Impactful Leader. I recently kicked off a series about 5 characteristics of highly impactful leaders, with the first characteristic centered around practicing emotional agility. Today, I'll be discussing the second characteristic of highly impactful leaders, the ability to create a clear meaning and purpose. I suspect we have all worked for organizations that, shall we say, were less than inspirational. While some leaders and organizations seem to excel at creating and connecting clear meaning and purpose to the everyday work of their people, my experience has been that the vast majority of leaders and organizations, despite their best intentions, fail to do so effectively. One of many such experiences I have had was when I was doing factory work 20 years ago. I had just returned from a 2-year service mission abroad, and I needed to save up money to go back to college. For 2 years, I had felt a tremendous sense of personal purpose and meaning in my daily work, but all of a sudden I found myself in a manufacturing plant doing tedious, mind-numbing work day in and day out. The hours were long, the conditions were dirty and hot, and to say that I wasn't enjoying myself at work would be a huge understatement. What was worse is that no one at the factory seemed to think that having a sense of meaning and purpose at work was even relevant, let alone important in any way. I did what I could to motivate myself, but ultimately, I just put in my time, I earned enough money to go off to school, and never look back. While many may say, "What did you expect? It's factory work." And while there was a time when perhaps I would have agreed with them, over the years, I've learned that every organization can and should find ways to connect the efforts of their people to a foundational purpose to drive greater meaning in their day-to-day work. Why is creating a clear meaning and purpose a leadership imperative? One study found that 9 out of 10 employees would take significantly less money, 20% less, if it meant they could do more meaningful and purpose-driven work. If organizations hope to not only attract and retain the best people, but also provide an engaging and motivational environment that can lead to greater innovation, productivity, and organizational success, they need to be asking themselves to what extent their people value meaningful work. Moreover, leaders and organizations need to determine how they can better go about fostering that meaning. It's not just about the value add, but also what a disengaged workforce can cost you in the long run. Gallup has tracked employee engagement since 2000, and while it reached a record high in 2019, it's still remarkably low. Only 35% of employees are engaged at work. In turn, this lack of engagement costs the U.S. economy between $450 billion and $550 billion a year. My own extensive research over the past decade has shown that the extent to which individuals have the opportunity to experience meaning and purpose at work directly impacts factors such as employee engagement, satisfaction, and worker productivity. The bottom line is that creating an environment of meaning and culture at work is a massive importance to every organization. While there is a clear business case for meaning and purpose at work, there is also a compelling human case that organizational leaders should not ignore. Not only can we help improve business outcomes by connecting the work of our employees to a greater foundational meaning and purpose, but we can better help them to be their whole authentic self and achieve their full personal potential. Here's how to create meaning and purpose in your organization. Understanding the importance of creating meaning and purpose at work is only half the battle. The highly impactful leader needs to take that understanding and implement it in actionable ways in order to enhance the overall employee experience of their team. While there are many reasonable approaches one might take to create meaning and purpose in your employees' day-to-day experience, the following strategies will help you create immediate impact. Listen to your people. There is no substitute for getting to know your people, and the best way to do that is to ask them relevant questions and then listen. While research demonstrates many commonalities across a range of employee workplace preferences and what tends to better motivate workers, the truth is that your people are not a monolith. They each have unique needs and desires. As you listen and learn, you can craft a meaningful and purposeful action plan that is unique to each team member. Help your people to see how their values connect to the organization's values. Understanding the organization's values is not enough. We also need to help our people connect their values with those of the organization. In my own work, I have found that ensuring a strong person-job fit, PJ fit, and person-organization fit, PO fit, is essential to having engaged and committed people and an effective organization. Connect values to meaningful work. Once values are aligned, you need to clearly connect those values to the work your people do each and every day. Take actionable steps to enhance their skill variety, task identity, task significance, work autonomy, and feedback, even in small ways, and their sense of meaning and purpose at work will increase dramatically. Creating meaning and purpose at work is, in large part, what it means to be a highly impactful leader. Listening to your people, helping them to align their values, and connecting those values to what they do every day will help your people experience greater meaning and purpose in their work. This, in turn, will breathe new life into the organization. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. As always, I hope you stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day, and I hope you have a great week. I'm excited to announce the publication of my new book from HCI Press, The Alchemy of Truly Remarkable Leadership: Ordinary, Everyday Actions That Produce Extraordinary Results. Consider how the nature of work has shifted over the past 50 years. With increased globalization, rapid technological advancement, and the shift in economic composition, the average job of today looks very different than the average job of 50 years ago. What will the jobs and organizations of tomorrow look like? Moreover, what does this all mean for organizational leaders? What are the core competencies and capabilities of organizations and their leadership that are prepared for continued disruption and geopolitical and socioeconomic shifts? Regardless of what the future holds, increasingly, leaders need to be socially minded, data-driven, decisive, champions of talent, and disruptors of the traditional notions of leadership, teams, organizations, and work. The Alchemy of Truly Remarkable Leadership will help you to explore your own leadership competencies and capabilities and consider ways to apply and implement them into your workplace and personal life. We are excited about the launch of HCI's new magazine, Human Capital Leadership. Human Capital Leadership is a free, interactive e-magazine designed to help individuals, leaders, and organizations find innovative approaches to maximize their human capital potential. We will be publishing issues quarterly in August, November, February, and May. Check out the first issue and let us know what you think. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. I hope you stay healthy and safe and that you have a great week.